Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Dava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Lava Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Dana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Ravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Chari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jagannath Jaya Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gaura Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Vishnupada Paramahamsa Prajajakacharya Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnavanda Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just start with the pranam mantras and then we can start. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Bharijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deham Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. I mean, all of you are here anyway, so I'm the one that's here. And welcome to all the Mayapur TV and the YouTube and Facebook devotees. It's so wonderful to be back in the temple. I think this is maybe the first or the second time that I've come back after the big lockdown. In this material world, it's very hard to get the association of devotees. It's already very hard. And now to even see devotees, it's very hard. At the end of the arati, I wasn't sure if I should bow down or not. Because everywhere you see it says, do not pay obeisance. So we are in a very tough time. But also it's very blissful because we get the association of so many Vaishnavas online. So I've been given the service today to speak today and tomorrow to speak on the 7th Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's certainly filling a big shoes. Ganasham Prabhu gave Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then Toshan Krishna Prabhu gave Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then me, very insignificant me, wanting to give a little bit of Srimad Bhagavatam. When I was trying to prepare, there's a beautiful verse in the 9th chapter in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 7th Canto, where Prahlad Maharaj is praying, what qualification do I have? I'm just a son of a demon to glorify you, my Lord. And then I was thinking, that's very true. Like, I am definitely a demon. I have no qualification to speak anything, let alone Srimad Bhagavatam. But with the presence of all the Vaishnavas, I please pray, and so that you bless me so I can speak something for my own purification. The 7th canto is actually quite important for multiple reasons. One is, you can see that from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya, of course, we know is Krishna himself. Every day after he finishes his morning duties in Jagannath Puri, he goes to Gadadhar Pandit's house. And Gadadhar Pandit is none other than the internal energy or Srimati Radharani. So both of them recite the Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And they enjoy the nectarian pastimes that's within these beautiful verses. But it is said when they come to the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, they read it at least, or recite it at least 100 times before they move on to the next canto. So Srimati Radharani and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Gadadhar Pandit and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, have kept a very important spot for the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we also know there's two great Vaishnavas that Lord Chaitanya glorifies to be having the same mood of Sri Prahlad Maharaj. One is, of course, we know Vasudev Tattva. Glorifies, he says that, I don't care if I go to hell, but just put everyone's sin on my head and I'll go to hell but save everyone else. That's one character that Lord Chaitanya. And the second one is Haridas Thakur. Because Haridas Thakur got beaten in 11 marketplaces, right? And then at the end of it, he acted as if he gave up his life just out of compassion for those two gods. So this compassionate nature of both these great Vaishnavas is glorified in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Lord Chaitanya says, you both are bringing the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. And Vasudeva, of course, is an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj in the Chaitanya Leela anyway. So this is very important for us to understand. And another reason for us to meditate, or at least I hope and pray for the devotees to meditate today, is we all know that one of our great spiritual masters, His Holiness Bhakti Charan Maharaj, is in a very critical place at the moment, and he's performed a lot of great service for Srila Prabhupada. He's in fact translated all the books by Srila Prabhupada back into the Bengali language, which is the language that Prabhupada is already Prabhupada is from Bengal. So I hope and pray that while we listen to the 7th canto, which of course many of you know is by the pastimes of Nrsingadev, that we pray, meditate. So Nrsingadev, if he wishes, protects Bhakti Charan Maharaj, and for our benefit, keeps him in this world so that we can serve him when he gets out of this. So that is my humble prayer today and tomorrow, that we meditate on this wonderful Vaishnava and this wonderful pastimes, so that he walks out safely. So the way that I was thinking, I have a few slides. Hopefully the devotees online can see, but there's just some few pictures just for us to meditate on. So as you all know, Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, is called the Science of God. And I'll cover hopefully the first 7 chapters today and the next 8 tomorrow. But just a bit of background. I think last year they completed the first 6 cantos, and then the 6th canto, in the last chapter, it describes the pastimes of the demigods killing Vritrasura, the great demon. Vritrasura is none other than Chitraketu Maharaj. So at the end, you see that Krishna appears to be taking sides to the demons and helps Indra and the demigods kill this great demon or Vaishnava in a disguise of demon, and kills him and gives all protection to the devotees or the demigods. So Parikshit Maharaj was hearing this very attentively, and he asks, and he begins with this question, and this is the first question that Parikshit, or the first verse of the 7th canto. And he asks, King Parikshit inquired, "My dear Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How then did he become partial like a common man for the sake of Indra, and thus kill Indra's enemies? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical towards others?" So it's a very deep question. It's like, we all know, we've read in the Bhagavad Gita and the other parts of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna is like, I'm not friendly towards one and I'm not friendly towards another, or inimical towards another. The way you come to me, the way I reciprocate to you as well. But here, Parikshit Maharaj is thinking, but every time you see, even in the last story or the pastime that you mentioned, Krishna was supporting the demigods. How is that so? So the first chapter of this canto is like setting the scene, just like the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? He's setting the scene for the rest of the chapters in this canto itself. So I was actually not preparing to speak on the first chapter, but I was just speaking to Toshan Krishna Prabhu, and he said that he loves the first chapter. So just to please him, I'll try to speak something on the first chapter. But I haven't prepared much, but we'll see. So Parikshit Maharaj first asked this question. He says, "Please tell me, why is Krishna being partial?" And then Sukadev Goswami then replies. He says, "No, Krishna is definitely not partial. Why? Because Krishna doesn't have a material body." And he explains it a beautiful verse. He says the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is always transcendental to material qualities, and therefore he is called Nirguna, without any qualities. Because he is unborn, he does not have a material body to be subjected to, attached, and hatred. Although the Lord is always about material existence, through his spiritual potency, he appears and acts like an ordinary human being, accepting duties, obligations, apparently like a conditioned soul. So here, Sukadev Goswami has already answered the question. He's saying, no, Krishna is not partial. Why? Because he doesn't have a material body like you and me. He has a spiritual body. And because he has a spiritual body, he has no attachment or detachment. He doesn't have any attachment, therefore he doesn't have any love or hatred towards anyone. And he's free from all these dualities. But just to add more towards this point as to, why Krishna is impartial, he starts to give a beautiful story, or he tells the pastime between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. We all know after the Yashvamedha Yajna, where Krishna was glorified as a supreme person, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Narada Muni, "Can you please tell me about the different qualities of different pastimes that you've heard?" So here Sukadev Goswami is reciting this beautiful discussion between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Yudhishthira Maharaj asks the same question. And he says, "My dear Narada, please tell me, how is it possible that Shishupal, who was so inimical towards Krishna, since his birth, the only thing that he ever mentioned was bad things about Krishna. He said, Krishna this, Krishna that, Krishna did this, Krishna did that. Nothing's ever positive. It's always negative. So how is it that this evil-minded Shishupal, how did he merge into the body of Krishna? Yeah? So many people are endeavoring so hard to get this mukti, this Sahayaja mukti, but Shishupal just got it very easily. Krishna killed him and straight went into his body. There's another picture where you can actually see where Prabhupada's disciples have drawn in this book where his soul also merges. So he asked this question, he's like, tell me please, how is it that Krishna gave him such a wonderful liberation? So this is where the beauty of the first chapter comes in. Narada Muni actually starts glorifying Shishupal. He says, Shishupal, he tells him about the past of Shishupal. He says Shishupal was actually Jaya and was Jaya or Jaya and Vijay, the two brothers, and so they actually offended the four Kumaras, who appeared just like little boys and followed the smell of Tulasi and came all the way to the gates of Vaikuntha. And seeing about this, these two guard keepers, Jay and Vijay, blocked these two children, thinking of them to be ordinary, and didn't allow them to come to this great palace, the great land of Vaikuntha. Seeing this, these four Kumaras immediately cursed Jay and Vijay and said them, because of your false ego and wanting to be in a position of servants of Vishnu, I curse you to go down to the material world. And as they were falling down, they said, you will take 3 births, and after the 3rd birth, after you die, after the 3rd birth, you'll come back to your original position. So Narada Muni says the first birth they took up as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And the second birth was Ravan and Kumbhakarna. And the last birth was Shishupal and Dandavakra. So he says, these people are not ordinary people. They're actually servants of Vishnu. But because of the curse, they've actually come down to this material world. So Yudhishthira naturally asks, it's like, okay. So they've come down, they're devotees, but why did he always be inimical? And even you still didn't answer me why he got the Sauji Mukti. So Narada Muni then says, there's 5 different ways that a person can achieve liberation from this material world. And the way is you concentrate on the lotus feet of Krishna, or you concentrate on Krishna. And the 5 ways to do this is 1, lusty desires. And he gives the example of the gopis. The gopis, of course we know the lusty desires is different to the lusty desires in this material world. What he says, having this intense desire and the gopis was an example. So this is one way, that to concentrate on Krishna. The second is by fear. And he gives the example of Kamsa. He says, out of complete fear, one concentrates their mind on Krishna. And the third one is familial relationship. Having close relationship like mother and father, brothers, sisters, uncle. And this is the example given as the Yadus, because they had familial relationship. And then he said it's the general devotees do devotional service to Krishna and therefore concentrate their mind. And the 5th way is envy. And this was shown by Shishupal. Narada Muni in one of the verses in this chapter says, being inimical listen to this carefully, being inimical towards Krishna is sometimes superior than devotional service and will get you back to Godhead. And when I read that, I was like, whoa, being inimical towards Krishna. But of course, Prabhupada clarifies that in the purport. He says, of course, that doesn't give you the same relationship with Krishna. It only gives you a certain aspect. But Shishupal was thinking of Krishna so much that he wasn't thinking about himself. He always wanted to pinpoint on what Krishna was doing wrong out of complete envy that 24/7 Shishupal was thinking of Krishna. And because he was able to concentrate 24/7 on Krishna's beautiful form, even out of envy, he got this Sayuja Mukti. So Narada Muni says, this shows that Krishna is impartial. Even though Shishupal was an enemy towards Krishna and wanted to kill Krishna and is completely envious to Krishna, he gave the same liberation as his devotees because he was able to concentrate on Krishna completely. And Prabhupada, of course, gives the example of Putana as well. Putana came disguised as a mother, but got the same position as Yashoda Mai. So this way Narada Muni glorifies Shishupal. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj gets this question. He says, it's great that Shishupal got this liberation, but can you please tell me how is it possible that these personalities, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, came into this world? And why is it that Hiranyakashipu was so angry towards his son, Prahlad Maharaj? I've heard that Prahlad Maharaj is a great devotee, and he's very kind and very cultured. So please, can you please tell me why this great demon, or great Hiranyakashipu, is killing his own son? I've never seen in this material world that a father, I mean now we do, but in those days, a father is never inimical towards his son. He's always loving. How is it that Hiranyakashipu wants to kill? So, Narada Muni then starts to explain about the pastimes of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. And this starts in the second chapter of this canto. So I just want to read a verse. Just so we understand where we're starting. So this begins from when, after the death of Hiranyaksha. After the death of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu is standing there, seeing his brother dead. And then, with full vengeance, he says, now I will kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, Srimad Bhagavatam says, filled with anger, he was biting his lips. And with angry eyes that made the whole sky smoky. I'm sure every one of us got angry. Have you ever seen the sky go black and smoky? No. This was Hiranyakashipu's power, right? And looking at the body of his brother, he took his trident and he spoke. And he said, this Lord Vishnu is said to be impartial, but now he's taken sides with the demigods. I will sever his head, and with his blood I will please my brother who loves to suck blood. This guy is dead, and he wants to kill him just to give him more blood. And he says, if Vishnu dies, the demigods naturally will die. But just in case that doesn't happen, you, my dear demon friends, charge to this material world and destroy all the places where there's Vedic culture. If you destroy the Vedic culture, no one will do any yajnas. And if they don't do yajnas, then naturally the demigods will wither away and they'll also die. And then we can conquer the whole world. So that was the master plan of Hiranyakashipu. But then he saw his family members, his nephews, and he saw the wife of Hiranyaksha, Rusabanu, and his mother Diti was crying and in great pain that Hiranyaksha died. Okay? Now, after telling that he wants to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hiranyakashipu will start giving Srimad Bhagavatam class. Right? So, he starts with this beautiful verse. He says, my dear mother, in a restaurant or place of drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking water, they continue to their respective destination. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destination. He says, the spirit soul and the living entity has no death, for he is eternal and inexhaustible. Being free from material contamination, he can go anywhere in the material world or spiritual world. He is fully aware and completely different from the material body. But because of being misled by the use of his slight independence, he is obliged to accept subtle and gross bodies created by material energy, and thus be subjected to so-called material happiness and distress. Therefore, one should not lament for the passing of the spirit soul from the body. Please understand, this is still Hiranyakashipu speaking, right? He just wanted to kill someone, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not to lament, but he himself, out of anger and lamentation, wants to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he still goes on. He says, in the same way, O my gentle mother, when the mind is agitated by the movements of the modes of material nature, the living entity, although freed from all different phases of subtle and gross bodies, thinks that he has changed from one condition to another. This feels like the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, right? And same way Hiranyakashipu is speaking. This demon is giving a Srimad Bhagavatam class, and yet he is completely engrossed in this material world. And he further continues, and he gives a beautiful example. And he says, wait, you don't believe me? I will tell you a beautiful story about what I've heard from authorities. He says there was a king in the kingdom of Usinara. His name was Sujanya. This king was actually laying on the battlefield, killed by his enemies. His hands and his heads were thrown everywhere, and his ornaments were thrown here and there. And his wives were crying, holding on to his body in deep lamentation. And they cried out, how is it possible that you've left us? If you've left us, we ourselves will die. And Hiranyakashipu here is saying that these cries of these wives was heard even to the abode of Yamaraj. So Yamaraj comes running in a disguise of a little boy. And Yamaraj then speaks. And he says, little foolish wives, what do you know? You think your husband's gone? You don't know anything about what a material world is, what living entity is. This person called this king is lying right in front of you. You can see him as his body. You can see him right there. Why are you lamenting? It's because you don't know who the real, true soul is. And he says, just like you were interacting with him a few days ago, enjoying pastimes with him, the same body is right here. Why are you not enjoying the same way? And Hiranyakashipu then goes and he says, this shows that the living entity is different from the body. The body and the living soul is different. So this is like listening to the second chapter, right? So it's like Krishna is saying, Dehinosmin yata dehi kaumaram yavanam jara. It's like, you're not the body. So Hiranyakashipu is also telling the same thing. And so after this, he says, therefore, my dear queen, my dear mother, please do not lament about the killing of my brother. He is just a living spark. He comes and he goes, and the same way he will go to another body. And immediately after this, after he finishes Srimad Bhagavatam class, sometimes we see the sannyasis, not from our sampradaya, from upper sampradayas, where they give class and then they go out and do all these rascal things. So similarly, Hiranyakashipu, after he finished giving this Srimad Bhagavatam class, he gets up and he holds his trident. Now, I am going to become the greatest conqueror in this whole world. I do not want old age or death. I want my body to be the strongest so that I can kill Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is after saying that you're not the body, you're the soul. He's ready to do that. So, Narada Muni continues and he explains that Hiranyakashipu goes to this mountain called Mandara Hill. And he starts to perform this great austerity of standing on his toes with his arms upraised. Actually, when I was reading this, I tried. I was like, okay, let's see how long I can stand with my toes on. I did not last more than a minute, right? So like this, he lasted for hundreds of years, wanting to get the benediction from Lord Brahma. It is said that this Hiranyakashipu, when he was standing like this, looking up, the planets got so agitated and the stars began to fall. And in all directions there was fire. And this fire was heating up the heavenly kingdoms, and all the demigods rushed to Lord Brahma. They immediately rushed to Lord Brahma and they begged Lord Brahma. It's like this, Hiranyakashipu, I'm sure you know what he's doing, but he wants to take your position. Because you are the greatest in this material world, he wants to take your position and therefore rule this entire universe. So please, my dear Lord, please go and do something about this. So immediately, Lord Brahma descended in his, of course, his swan carrier. And Narada Muni says, Lord Brahma, who was carried by a swan aeroplane, at first could not see where Hiranyakashipu was. For Hiranyakashipu's body was covered by an anthill and by grass and bamboo sticks. Because Hiranyakashipu had been there for a long time, the ants had devoured his skin, fat, flesh and blood. Then Lord Brahma and the demigods spotted him, resembling a cloud-covered sun. Heating all the world by his austerity, struck with wonder, Lord Brahma began to smile and addressed him as follows. And he says, so Lord Brahma, and he says, my dear child, you've done all this austerity, so please tell me how I can please you. This is the defect in demigod worship. Unfortunately, if you do any austerity, the demigods have to come. Of course, the austerity that we can do is very minute, so they don't come to us. But if you do as much as Hiranyakashipu is, they definitely have to come. And they have to give the benedictions that they ask. So Hiranyakashipu, wanting to be the greatest or the most unconquerable of them all, he asks, O my Lord, O best of givers of benediction. You always have to say some nice things to the demigods. So Hiranyakashipu starts and he says, O best of the givers of benedictions, if you kindly grant me the benediction I desire, please let me not meet death from any of the living entities created by you. Grant me that I not die within any residence or outside any residence, during the daytime or at night, nor on the ground nor on the sky. Grant me that my death not be bought by any being other than those created by you, nor by any weapon, nor by any human being or animal. So he thought to himself, I've covered everything. Every direction, no one's going to kill me, not going to kill me top, bottom, inside the house, outside the house, nor by any animal, no weapon, nothing. Tatastu. So nothing will kill me. So Lord Brahma, of course he has to give the benediction. He says, okay, I'll give you the benediction. So immediately after he got this benediction, he left for his kingdom and he started conquering the whole universe. He conquered the upper, conquered the middle, and conquered the lower. And it is said all the Gandharvas and all the Chanaras, all the Siddhas, all the Manus, even the Yakshas and the Rakshasas were under the control of Hiranyakashipu. It is said, just by raising his eyebrows, he shook Indra in his seat. Now Prabhu's raising his eyebrows now. Nothing's happening. But Hiranyakashipu, when he raised his eyebrows, the whole Indra himself got scared because he was in so much fear. So then the demigods then go, okay, Brahma gave this benediction. We thought we could survive. Brahma could do something. But Brahma didn't help us. So immediately the demigods went to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And they begged, my dear Lord, please, this Hiranyakashipu has taken up everything. Please, somehow or the other, help us. So the Lord spoke. He said, the voice of the Lord vibrated as follows. O best of learned persons, do not fear. I wish all good fortune to you. Become my devotees by hearing and chanting about me and offering me prayers. For these are certainly meant to award benediction to all living entities. I know all about the activities of Hiranyakashipu and shall surely stop them very soon. Please be patient until that time. When one is envious. Actually, I won't read this. And then he continues to say, he says, when this Hiranyakashipu actually lays a hand on my devotee, Prahlad, that's when I'll come and I will kill this great demon, Hiranyakashipu. So immediately after this, Yudhishthira Maharaj then asks, who is this great Vaishnava, Prahlad? I know I've heard he's a great Vaishnava, but can you please tell me the beautiful qualities of this great personality who was born as the son of the demon? And tell me about why there was inimical between the father and the son. And tell me what we can learn. So the first, this is moving on in the 4th chapter of this canto, and Narada Muni explains the beautiful qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, he was completely cultured as a qualified Brahmana, having very, very good character and being determined to understand the absolute truth. He had full control of his senses and mind like the super soul. He was kind to every living entity and was the best friend of everyone. To respectable persons, he acted exactly like a menial servant. To the poor, he was like a father. To his equals, he was attached like a sympathetic brother. And he considered his teachers, spiritual masters, and older God brothers to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was completely free from unnatural pride that might have risen from his good education, riches, and beauty, aristocracy, and so on. So, these were the beautiful qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. So, after hearing this, Narada Muni then starts to explain, how Narada Muni embraced Krishna consciousness. He says, Prahlad Maharaj was always absorbed in thought of Krishna. Thus being always embraced by the Lord, he did not know how his bodily necessities such as sitting, walking, eating, lying down, drinking, and talking were being automatically performed. Because of advanced in Krishna consciousness, he sometimes cried, sometimes laughed, sometimes expressed jubilation, and sometimes sang loudly. So, we already can understand at the age of just 5, Prahlad Maharaj is showing symptoms of bhava and prema. So then Narada Muni then explains, can you please, Narada Muni then says, now I will explain the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj when he was young. And then I will tell you why there was why there was differences between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. And he says, when Prahlad was young, he was sent to the school. He was sent to the school of Sanda and Amarka, the sons of Sukracharya. So, as we all know that Sukracharya was the spiritual master for Hiranyakashipu, and the goal of the school was to teach about economic development, to speech and nothing about spiritual life. And even if it's about spiritual life, it's spiritual life towards Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they took him and they taught Prahlad Maharaj about different aspects of Artha, Kama and Moksha. Not much Moksha, but just Artha and Kama. So they thought, okay, we've taught him very well. We should take him to his father so that his father will be very pleased and he will give us any boons. Just like a parent-teacher meeting that we have now, but Hiranyakashipu there was very feared, so the teachers went to the parent. So when Prahlad Maharaj was taken, Prahlad Maharaj then falls at the feet of Hiranyakashipu. And he says, oh, best of demons. Imagine someone says, oh, best of demons. You'll be like, what? What? But for Hiranyakashipu, this was the greatest of respects that he can get. He says, "Oh, best of demons, I come before you." And then, out of love and affection, Hiranyakashipu takes Prahlad Maharaj and lays him on his seat, or on his lap. And he asks, "Please tell me what you've learnt from your wonderful teachers." And Prahlad Maharaj replies, he says, "O best of Asuras, king of the demons, as far as I've learnt from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and a temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen into a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And he says, when Narada Muni, when Prahlad Maharaj spoke this, imagine you wanting to say, "I am the greatest of greatest," and your son comes and says, "You are just useless. You are taking up this position for no reason, but go to Vrindavan and surrender to your greatest enemy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So immediately, when Hiranyakashipu heard this, he threw Prahlad Maharaj from the lap off his lap, and he said, "Go back to your Gurukul and learn the right, show you the way, the right way. So we'll have to hit you with a stick." And Prabhupada says there's 4 ways of diplomacy. In this Prabhupada he mentions. The first one is by legal orders. You put some law and orders so you can bring people back in line. Or the second one, you pacify them. You say them good words and you make them feel good so they come back under your rule. The third way is to offer a post. You're going against us. We'll just give you a post so that you'll just keep quiet and not speak against us. And the last one is actually forcefully hitting or using weapons. So the teachers then said, "Okay, yes, the only way that this guy will follow us is if we hit him. This guy is like an axe handle. The axe, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will destroy all of us. And this Prahlad is like an axe, the handle to this axe. And he's supporting the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this person should definitely be brought back in line. And therefore, we have to hit this person with a stick and get him back in line." So of course, they hit Prahlad Maharaj. And they said, "Now you have to learn the art of military and political development." So they teach him. They get better. They teach him, and Prahlad Maharaj is very nicely listening. And then they say, "Okay, now let's take you back to your father, and then you can tell him what you learned." So Hiranyakashipu says, "My dear Prahlad, my dear son, O long-lived one, for so much time you've heard many things from your teachers. Now please repeat to me whatever you think is the best of knowledge." So the first time an arrow was sent by Prahlad Maharaj. Now he sends another big bomb. And he speaks one of the most beautiful verses. And this is a well-quoted verse. So it says, Prahlad Maharaj says, "Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities and paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering praise to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend and surrendering everything onto him. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, and for he has acquired complete knowledge." And the final arrow now. He says, "Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to material life make progress towards hellish condition and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclination towards Krishna are never aroused either by instruction of others by their own efforts or by the combination of both. And then he ends by saying, my dear father, you are but a fool. You know nothing, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says, please hurry up, go to Vrindavan and take the dust of the lotus feet of devotees, so you will get purified. So the first time he said Krishna is Supreme, and the first time Hiranyakashipu just laughed it off, I was just a little childish boy. The second time, he threw bigger arrows. He said, do devotional service, and not just that, go to Vrindavan and take the dust, not of Krishna, but his devotees. So Hiranyakashipu got very, very, very angry. And he, this time with great anger in his eyes, fiery boiling eyes, he threw Prahlad Maharaj onto the floor. And he commanded all of his great demons to start killing Prahlad Maharaj. And they yelled, chop him, pierce him, pierce him. They just wanted to kill Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj is sitting there, just thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That didn't work. So he said, okay, throw him under the big elephants. Let the elephants kill him. That didn't work. And then they hurled him from the top of the mountains. And that didn't work either. And finally they said, let's try giving him poison and then he'll die. And of course, Krishna protected him from that as well. And then finally, this Sanda and Amarka thought, okay, this guy's not dying. And if he doesn't die, then Hiranyakashipu is going to come back and kill us because we haven't taught him properly. So immediately says, okay, I will come back till Sukracharya comes back. We will tie him up and we will teach him. And as he learns, we will we'll make sure that he comes back into line. So they take him back and they start teaching Prahlad Maharaj. And then Narada Muni says, one day, I'll finish in the next couple of minutes. One day, the teachers went on a tea break. Yeah? As young kids, I don't know if you all are great brahmacharis, but you probably wouldn't have done it. But when the teachers are not there, at least we used to cause a lot of problems at school. So similarly, Narada Muni says, one day when the teachers went away for a break, Prahlad Maharaj was invited to play with his student friends. And then Prahlad Maharaj saw these students and he said, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time playing like this? Why are you wasting your time playing? Listen to me about the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, every human being has a maximum duration of life of 100 years. But for one who cannot control his senses, half those years are completely lost. Because at night he sleeps 12 hours, being covered by ignorance. Therefore, such a person has a lifetime of only 50 years. In the tender age of childhood, when everyone was bewildered, one passes 10 years. Similarly, in boyhood, engaged in sporting and playing, one passes another 10. In this way, 20 years are wasted. Similarly, in old age, one is an invalid, unable to perform even material activities, one passes another 20 years. One whose mind and senses are uncontrolled becomes increasingly attached to family life. Because of insatiable lusty desires and very strong delusion, in such a madman's life, the remaining years are also wasted. Because even during those years, he cannot engage himself in devotional service. This is a 5-year-old boy speaking to other 5-year-olds. Right? A 5-year-old boy is probably thinking, what I'm going to play next. Here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, plan your next 100 years. So, immediately these boys are like, Prahlad, you say very good things, but neither my spiritual master or any teachers in our Gurukul has never spoken to us about any of these. Where did you learn from? all these great art about Krishna consciousness. So please, can you enlighten us? We believe you. We will believe you, but please tell us, where have you learned this? And just before they asked this question, they said, my dear Prahlad, I agree with you. And we will chant and dance the glories of Krishna. And they said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way they were chanting and they were asking, Prahlad, can you please tell us more? Can you please tell us from where did you get this knowledge? So I will end here. This completes the 7th chapter of the 7th Canto. I felt like this was a good transition. From the next chapter, Prahlad Maharaj will explain about his birth and how he learnt this, and then we will see what happens to Hiranyakashipu in the further chapters of this 7th Canto. So we already over time, so we'll ask any questions, but maybe tomorrow there'll be time. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Sridhar Bhagwan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananda Koti Vaishnava ki jai.